Well, fantastic. Well, good morning once again, everyone. Hope you're having a pleasant weekend as well. Hope Saturday has been a brilliant one so far. There's much to talk about other than just as the day has just started, but certainly it's a day to give thanks and praise to the Lord. Today, myself and Lyndon will be presenting on the Cts College Private Secondary School. And I know for many of you, it may have been a long journey to getting back to school. So I know that it may be one that has a lot of questions because it's a totally new setting. As at the same time, it's probably one that you're very much eager and interested in doing. So let's get on with the show. Just a small quote here from Michelle Obama. And she said that the ability to read, to write, and to analyze, the confidence to stand up and to demand justice and equality, the qualifications and connections to get your foot in that door and take your seat at the table, all of that starts with education. And that's the reason why we're here today, because we're all seeking to gain the best education possible, because education opens up the door to limitless possibilities. Your speakers for today would be myself and Lyndon Brown. And of course, we'll have one of our guests, our teachers, doing a presentation as well with you guys. My name is Ravi Raghunath. I'm the Executive Director of CTS College, but I'm also your principal of the CTS College Private Secondary School. So I look forward to working with you guys. Just a brief introduction as well for parents as well as students. If you look at the workplace and you look at all the people around you, you would realize that, look, those persons who got a job, regardless of what the job was, whether you're working at some of the lowest paying jobs or the highest paying jobs, most of those persons had some kind of skill or some kind of qualification, right? And as you move higher up in the organization, so you start looking at those who are more supervisors and managers, etc., you realize the higher up you go, those persons are better and better qualified. The reality is that it's almost impossible to recognize that, look, without an education, it becomes very, very difficult for us to be able to get the jobs we want, to be able to pursue the career we want, etc. There may be a few exceptions, but overall, it becomes really tough and difficult for us to do so. So if you're planning to start your career right after CSEC, the reality is that you need to have some kind of qualification to get there as well. And that is what this program does. So a CXC qualification lays the foundation for the next career, so your progression to your career. So it's really important as well that in order to get that higher salary, to get that promotion, that you need to be qualified. And this is the right place to get started with your CSEC qualification. In terms of some of the things I'll be covering today, I won't go through all of these. I'll just go through some of these. And we look at, we just discussed why CSEC, but also we look at the kind of support you'll get available. We look at the subjects that's available at CTS College. We talk about the registration process, and also we'll work with you guys also to discuss even preparing your timetable and managing your time, which is so crucial because your success deals largely with what you do with your time. The truth is that you may have classes just a couple of days, and most of you may not be employed, so you have a lot of free time. But what do you do with that free time, and how do you convert that free time into success? And that's what we plan to do with you guys also. We'd also look at in terms of a bit of rules as well in terms of your classes, as well as the entire process of attending classes and how it will be. So all of this will be part of the new normal, as we call it. Now, just to briefly recap about CTS College and CSEC, we have been offering CSEC programs since 1999, and over the years, we've learned a lot, right? And when we started off, we were mainly for repeaters, but over the years, we've gotten a lot of younger students who've enrolled as well. And what we've noticed also is that those younger students were outperforming the older students. So we had students who did SEA and came straight into our program. And in 1 year, they completed the CSEC qualification, and they've done extremely well. Of course, we have mature students as well who are either looking to repeat CSEC or simply they didn't do well, but they went on to work and now they're coming back to complete their qualification. So there's a broad mixture of people enrolling in the class. And I want to share with you some of our wonderful success stories, more so from the younger kids. I've left out the stories of the older kids, right? But I've focused more on the younger kids. And I'll share with you just a a few of those highlights as well, right? So we had an 8-year-old kid actually who signed up to do CSEC, and he passed. So by the age of 9, he would have passed his first exam. We had 13-year-old Emily who had passed her exams as well. We had a Form 2 student, Charissa, who obtained 3 CSEC passes in 2017, and she obtained 1 in 2016. Now, please note, Charissa has just completed Form 5, and Charissa also is in the final year of her degree. She was actually doing her CSEC when she was like in Form 1, and she was doing her CSEC with us, and now she's in her final year of her degree, and she's just finished Form 5. I want to say at the same time, it's not that Charissa is only about academics. Her parents try to instill a very all-rounded approach, but it's just to share with you, and I want to let you know that the whole process is that we often think that you need to be a certain age or a certain maturity to do certain things. And while there's a lot of truth to it, we've also learned that, we've been able to shatter some of our own, traditional thinking in that you must do 5 years of secondary before you write CSEC. And we have learned that that's not necessary. You can do CSEC in 1 year regardless of where you're coming from. That's why it's important that you manage your time and you study as well. We had, for example, a Form 3 student, Enrique, who got 4 CSEC passes in 2017. We've had 14-year-old Humchan Bisundial, who obtained 6 CSEC passes, including 5 grade 1s, right? We had another 14-year-old student who obtained 7 CSEC passes as well, right? And what was so surprising, these young kids, we got 6 top 100 places in the 2019 CSEC exams in Trinidad and Tobago. So that was an amazing accomplishment. There were many other accomplishments, but I focus on the younger folks, the ones who are 12 and 13, etc., and trying to share with you some of their successes. And the reason for it is to alleviate some of the fear and some of the concerns you have, because as parents, we would have spent 5 years of secondary, and therefore we believe that, well, we did it, that's the norm, and that's how it should be. And I'm sharing with you that we have enough stories to share with you that it doesn't need to be like that. And, you can complete this program successfully in 1 year. And that's why the support is so crucial as well. And we'll answer all your questions as well to ensure that you're comfortable in terms of the direction and the decision that your child is heading at CTS College. All right. I'll talk to you a bit about our support structure at CTS College that makes these kind of results possible. Now, first of all, every program at CTS College has its own program manager. So the CTS College Private Secondary School has its own program manager. That's Lyndon Brown, who is the moderator of this session, who many of you would have met before. Lyndon has been sending you emails, has been basically keeping you up to date regarding classes, etc. Right? And throughout the entire program, Lyndon is basically going to hold your hand throughout the entire journey. Wherever you have doubts, wherever you're not sure, whenever you need additional support, liaise with Lyndon and he will make resources available to you to ensure that you can successfully complete your program. At the same time, we also have a free access. We provide free access to our students to resources. Now, all our resources is digitized now. So for example, initially you'll have shared access or access to a shared drive with the syllabus, textbooks, past papers, lecture notes, etc. But CTS College have invested, or we have invested in a learning management system. It's called IBISLink Academy. Now, the first phase of IBISLink Academy has just been built, and we are undergoing testing right now. So in order, before we get all this stuff available on IBISLink Academy, it may take a couple of weeks, but the reality is that initially you may have access to a shared drive with all those resources, but the plan is to move you over now to IBISLink Academy. Now, what IBISLink Academy is what we call a learning management system. So when you log into IBISLink Academy, you would be able to see for all your subjects, and within each subjects you can view the past papers, you can view all the resources, you can see links to your Zoom meetings as well. It will have recordings of your Zoom meetings. It will also allow you as well to submit assignments. It will allow you to take tests, etc. So all of these are features of the learning platform. So basically, it's like a textbook, but it's more than just a book. It has everything, your videos of your class recording, your reminders for when your classes are online with Zoom as well. So again, it's not just Zoom classes. The Zoom classes are separate, but the link to your Zoom class, everything is housed within that learning management system, right? And again, you could connect to your teachers, etc., within that platform as well. Okay, so those are some of the things we'd have available for you within the platform. Apart from that, we try to make the course as practical as possible so that it's very much work applied, because the whole idea is to get you ready, not just for CSEC, but also to ready to take on the world, right? So we will try to develop you with a series of other skills like entrepreneurial skills, ability to work in teams, to be tolerant, and several other skills as well. Now, the truth is, because of COVID and because of the fact that, look, some places may not be available for us to visit in terms of our professional development of the student, we'll have to find new creative ways to do professional development. Some are very easy to fit into the online environment, and some would have to be, we'd have to figure out how to work around the challenges as well with COVID and the fact that only so many persons can meet, etc. Right? Now, in terms of our student support center, again, that's headed by your program manager, and that's to assist students with homework, remedial help with studies, past paper assistance, academic writing, etc. So let's say, for example, your child got homework, right, and they're not sure what to do. Contact our student support center through Linden, because our intent is to ensure that they can do the homework. And I would encourage you as well to get your child to do the homework the very same date is given, right? Studies have shown that, look, if the child attended class on Monday and that homework is due for the next week, likely the best time for them to attempt it is also on the Monday. But the longer they wait, the more they will forget. All right, not just forget that they have homework, but forget how to do the homework as well. But we always have our student support center available to provide further assistance as well to whatever problems or challenges you may have. So if you're not sure whether the teacher taught it well, but your child just not understanding it, we are more than happy to arrange additional support and help as well, okay? Apart from that too, we also have our WhatsApp group. So the WhatsApp group, in terms of the students, we ask that it's mandatory, because the reason is that on the WhatsApp group, we will be able to, each students can connect to their teachers as well. They'd be able to connect to Linden also. Information will be provided on the WhatsApp group. So we encourage parents to be part of the WhatsApp group. So for example, every day when they get homework, the homework will be, apart from the homework being on the learning management system, and you'll be emailed the homework as well, right? It will be shared on WhatsApp also, so that you are well aware, look, you have homework to be given up. So if your child comes home and say, Mommy, I don't have any homework, you know that, look, but I have a WhatsApp message clearly stating that, or I have an email with the homework as well. So there's always work to do. And in terms of the model that we're using, that each teacher is asked to follow, is that every class, the child must get homework. Every class, there must be homework given. Now, in terms of what the homework constitutes, the homework will consist of past paper questions, as well as, and in most cases where a textbook is being used, is to review something related to in the textbook. So to encourage them to use their textbooks, right? So the textbook will cover what was done in class, as well as it will also be able to assist them in answering the questions, but their lecture notes would have already covered all the things they needed to do that as well. So every week your child will be given homework. If they are not given homework, we are accountable, hold myself or Lyndon accountable if your child was not given any homework in any given week, because every week homework must be given. That's mandatory. And the homework is past paper questions, as I said, as well as something to read in the book, with the exception for maths. In maths, you don't need to read much, you more tend to do. So maths might be one of the few subjects where the homework is only just past paper questions, right? So the WhatsApp group is used to communicate effectively with parents. So you have full access to information there. There'll also be emails as well that will be sent to the parents and the students as well. All right. So those are some of the things we'll be doing. We'll also have, as we prepare your child, I want you to note, we assume that your child knows nothing in terms of secondary education. So we're making a simple assumption that your child has never done this before. Therefore, when we're teaching a child, the assumption is that, look, they would have completed primary school, but as far as secondary is concerned, they're now starting secondary. So that's where we're starting from. But the end result, when we teach something, we are preparing them to write the CSEC exams. So if, for example, we're teaching them how to let's say, to do factorization. We assume they know nothing about factorization. Then we prepare them with simple questions, and then we increase the complexity. So by the end, they should be able to tackle all the CXC questions that are related to factorization. So that's an example of how we'd be working. So you don't have to say, well, you know, well, my child doesn't have the background. There's no background ready. Once your child has done primary school, you're more than good to go in terms of it. So our teachers will be working on the premise that, look, the child has not done secondary education, but at the end of it, the child would be able to answer all past paper questions as well. As parents as well, I want to encourage you to be critical of our notes that we're given as well. So if it is you are using the lecture notes and you cannot find the answers to the past paper question, it means that our notes are not detailed enough, or the information provided is not sufficient to answer. And you tell us, because this is how we are going to improve, because we are very much open to scrutiny. We want to be our best, and therefore, if you can tell us ways we can improve, we are very much open to making those changes as well. All right. Now, as we prepare your child for the exam also, so I want you to note, as we are focusing on academics, but also too, we are focusing on the holistic development of your child. So it's all wrong, because the fact is you want your child to be successful, and at the same time, you want your child to be more than just about schoolwork only. So we are looking at both areas. Now, in terms of the classes, as we prepare them for exam, closer to the exams, we'll be doing intensive past paper review sessions as well. So we'll be doing, now we have done these already. So to prepare students for the 2020 exams, we had several online past paper review sessions as well. We had study schools also. All of these are geared to really focus on past paper questions. So we basically, if you call it, we kill in past papers, if you want to call it that, as we prepare for the exam, right? And that is part of the success mechanism, because the more students are exposed to past papers, the greater their chances of success. Not sure if you're familiar as well, but most of the questions in the 2020 exam were repeat questions from previous years, and students who had done more past paper questions were better equipped and came out of the exam room much happier, because they felt a sense of familiarity. I've done that before, already know the answer, etc. So that's one of the intention. The more we prepare your child using past papers as well, the better they'll be prepared as well. Of course, the other thing too is we are going to frequently assess your child. Now, I want to explain the rationale behind the frequent assessment. Now, if your child comes to school and there's no homework, there's a greater chance that your child will never pick up a book. If I give your child some homework, then your child will be, once your child gets some homework, they're going to do something. They're going to, at least once you insist as well, they're going to attempt it. Doing homework now is an indication of how well they understand the information. So ideally, it gives them the opportunity to review. But what we're also doing now is we are adding these small weekly tests. The purpose of these small weekly tests, no more than 10 minutes, again, is to ensure constant revision. Now, my son is in primary school, and the method, once that method has been used, we found that it has become more to his benefit, because when we do weekly tests, the idea is that you have to constantly revise in order to prepare for your weekly tests. And the more students revise, by the time they have midterm, because they have been revising constantly for their weekly tests, by the time midterm comes around, they are already prepared, because they are better prepared now to undertake that weekly test, that midterm test. And similarly, by the time end of term comes around, because they have been doing their preparation, they are better prepared for the end of term. So your midterm tests will be a sum of the different weekly tests. So the questions are being pulled again from some of those weekly tests, and the end of term tests will be used again from the weekly and midterm tests. And again, we do that each semester. So by the time your child is ready to write exam, they are much better prepared, because they have been constantly revising as well. The method also helps us to recognize early which students are at risk, which students are not doing the work. Maybe it's an early indicator that whether or not the coping skill of the child, and if we have to add additional mechanism as well to support your child. But the intent is that, look, is to get your child best prepared for the exams. And these are methods that work at the lower level, all right, meaning in primary school, and we're trying to add these now to secondary. If you look at the success of students, for many parents, their child performed much better at SEA than they did at secondary school. And one of the big reasons is those mechanisms were removed from secondary school. So in primary school, there's weekly tests. In primary school, we do lots of past paper questions to prepare our child for SEA. In primary school, the parents are much more involved in their child as they prepare for SEA. But when that child goes to secondary school, as parents, we take our hands off the rein, and we often see that the results of the student starts changing. It starts declining in many instances, right? And that's because we have changed a model that has worked into something that, well, we assume that they're maturing and they would be able to do these themselves because they've learned. But not all kids are actually, diligent enough to go and do their work. They're not as they're not as disciplined to do that, and therefore our role is to ensure that discipline takes place by putting that mechanism in place in our secondary school. So teachers, please note about the weekly test. It's a small test to basically get students to review what they would have covered last week as well, right, in the previous week, and those things will count towards their midterms and count towards their end of terms as well. So the weekly test adds towards their midterm and end of term reporting also. Now, apart from that, as I said, we also focus on the non-academic. So it's a very much a family-oriented culture at CTS College. Of course, we're going to be a bit challenged in the COVID environment to figure out how we're going to meet like field trips, etc. But the fact is that our plan prior to COVID would have had like going zip lining, going to different companies, doing hikes, lip sync battle, beach cleanup, and some of these different things. But now we'll have to review some of these activities and figure out what new activities we could introduce as well to the students, right? But it's focusing on the holistic development of the students as well, right? The intention as well here is that there's less class time, so there's more study time. So if you want, you could choose how many subjects you want your child to do. And the reason is that the less class time you have, it means that child has much more time to study, and therefore they should be able to perform a lot better. All right. Okay. So based on that, well, I would have shared a lot of the support mechanism earlier with you as well. So we believe that students want to succeed, but they're just not disciplined enough to proactively study and to do what is required in order to to succeed on their own. And that is why our support mechanism is in place. Now, our support mechanism does not only involve us and your child. We look shortly in terms of how the support mechanism works. As I've indicated for you, the support mechanism is often stronger when the child is younger, and as the child gets older, it changes, but we are basically reusing a mechanism that has worked in primary school back into secondary school. So that's the student is the focus of our support. But that support now, if you look at the circle all around the student, that support goes all around. It includes parents and family members. It includes our admin staff. It includes other students. So yes, students, you too are a crucial form of support to your fellow students as well. Your teachers, your principal, your program manager, all of us are part of that circle of support that is focused on you, the student, to ensure your success. Now, in terms of our role now, right? So in terms of CTS, we'll be providing the online classes as well. So your online classes will be done via Zoom, right? Your attendance will be recorded on Zoom, right? But Lyndon will go through, so I don't want to replicate too much of what Lyndon will be doing with you guys later. So Lyndon will introduce you to some of the rules for the Zoom classes. But the intention is that, look, when you're in the Zoom class, you should keep your camera on to ensure that you are in class. So every time I look at that camera, I should be able to see all my students there, so that you don't just take your camera off and you somewhere watching a movie or something like that while the camera is on. So the teacher is not just teaching a screen, but is actually teaching attentive students as well, right? Our classes are, as I said, are just also when students, so they're required to keep their camera on, but they're advised to keep their mic on mute unless they want to speak. And when they need to speak, they simply unmute the mic and speak. Each subject is held just 1 day per week. It's a 3-hour class. The classes are recorded, so it's live online, but they are recorded, and students will have access to the recorded session as well. And of course, students are expected to be on time for class and be appropriately attired, which Lyndon will deal with as well. In terms of the WhatsApp group, it's to provide frequent and up-to-date communication to all parties, right? So the WhatsApp group will include parents, students, program manager, teacher. The WhatsApp group will be used to communicate homework and other activities to parents. Now, the whole idea is we don't want to make this into any group where everybody's just posting a series of unnecessary message and forwards, etc. So therefore, there are lines of communication when it comes to the WhatsApp group. Parents are encouraged and students are encouraged to ask questions, right? Indicate where they need help, etc. Or you could private message Lyndon as well. But the thing is that we're asking you guys as well to not be posting and forwarding a series of stuff that's not related to the class, because at the end, parents may choose to leave because the posts are considered irrelevant to some. So because we have different tolerance level to these posts that are not related, we ask that if you could avoid posting things that are not necessary and just those that are relevant to the classes, etc. Right? Okay, so it's an easy way as well to communicate if there's a class cancellation or any other notification. Parents no longer need to depend on their child to find out about homework, right? And parents and students are asked to avoid using the group for, as I said, non-related issue, right? If you're not in the group, all you need to do is liaise with Lyndon Brown, the program manager. So parents and students, please ensure you save Lyndon Brown's number on your phone, because it's important that anything, you're not in the group, you liaise with him. So don't say, well, I'm waiting until he adds me and 2 weeks later I have been added. It simply means that maybe he has the wrong number for you or something like that. Could you kindly ensure as well that you be proactive in terms of following up with him as well to ensure that you're added to the group? All right. Okay. So as I said as well, you'll have access to the shared drive, which will have the lecture notes, recording of your Zoom classes, past papers, books, and other resources as well. But eventually, as we move to our learning management system, you'll have access to those things and more, where your homework and everything could be uploaded there. Your tests could be done on the learning management system as well. So that may not be ready right away, but we may need a couple of weeks to ensure that it's fully tested and ready as well. Okay. So what about your program manager now? What is the role of the program manager? Well, the program manager really is in charge of you directly. So he's directly in charge of all the teachers, all the students as well within the program. And his role is not about, so I don't want to make it sound like it's a master-slave relation. Really, Lyndon's role is to ensure that he creates a successful student experience. He makes it easy for you to answer all your questions, any concerns you have, so that you don't have to just call a school and when you call, who do I talk to, etc. You have basically, your personal assistant or your personal support, who is Lyndon, right? And each program similarly has a program manager. Lyndon is simply the person for your group. So Lyndon is your Alexa, if you want to call it that, right? But Lyndon could do much more than Alexa, all right? So Lyndon will coordinate the Student Support Center, administer the WhatsApp group, provide access to resources for students, work one-on-one with students, or arrange the necessary persons to work with students where required, right? And if we recognize that child is at risk mean at risk of failing. How is a child at risk of failing? Well, a child who's absent from class is at risk of failing. A child who's not submitting homework is at risk of failing. A child who fails these weekly tests is at risk of failing. And once we recognize these early signs, our intent is not wait until results come out and to tell you, well, your child doesn't look likely like they're going to pass. From very early, you are also provided, we meet with you and we come up with a structure to assist that child. So that's at-risk plan is effective as early as we can as well, to ensure that, look, we don't allow this child to go by the wayside as well. So we need your support. Now, what about our teachers? What are the teachers' role then? Well, the teachers really tend to create a warm environment, to mentor and to nurture the students as well, to become role models for them, and to listen and even look for signs of possible where trouble or where a child might be at risk. They also try to create a relationship with the student that encourages learning in the classroom. For me, I've often found that the better the relationship I had with the teacher, the more I was willing to study hard and impress them, the less I wanted to disappoint them. So part of our role is also recognizing the psychological needs of the student as well, and developing relationships with our students, appropriate relationships that is, but that relationship really is to let the child know that they are cared for, that our teachers and Cts College sincerely cares for them and wants the best. And we believe that, look, the greater the relationship between the teacher and the student, the greater the chance of the student succeeding in the module as well, right? So that's part of what we're trying to do. We're not trying to create a measure of disrespect. No matter the relationship, the respect is always going to be there, but we're trying to make it such that you value your teacher as well. And once you value your teacher, because you know that they sincerely care about you, you are going to do your best to please them as well, okay? So they will also they will develop lessons plan, they will teach your students, they will set homework and assignments and provide regular feedback on these in a timely manner. They would recognize students at risk of failing and work with the program manager to create strategies to reduce the risk of a child failing as well, right? Now, what about the parents? So I want you to know as well, and I don't think you even anticipated that you're going to just send your child to us and the child is our responsibility. I think any good parent will know that, look, it's a combined effort from all of us to make the child a success, right? And therefore, for the parents, you have to ensure that every day your child does the homework. Now, please note, you may not know how to do the homework, and that should never be a reason for you to stop your child to say, well, look, well, I don't know the homework, so I don't bother. Your role is not about doing the homework for the child. Your role is more about ensuring the child attempts the homework, right? Your child reads, your child spends time with their schoolwork. So you are not required to know the schoolwork, but if you do, that's wonderful. But if you don't, that's fine as well. We will assist. That's our role. But your role is to ensure that the child just doesn't come home and does nothing. If a child, every week, as I said, the child is given homework, you should be able to at least recognize that the homework was attempted. You should be able to see questions and see answers. Your role is not to determine if it's right or wrong, but your role is to ensure that, look, the questions were attempted by the child, right? And that's your starting point there. So you ensure that, look, the child has a study structure, that they're working when they come home, they do their schoolwork, as well as they do their homework, and they prepare for their tests. And you should also inquire how the child is doing. And don't only take the child's word for it. You can verify with Lyndon if you're uncertain whether the child is being totally honest with you or not, all right? And of course, eventually as parents, you too could check IBIS link and determine, see your child's results as well. So you don't need to get it from them or Lyndon. You can get it directly from the IBIS Link Academy site once it's up and running, right? But at the same time, parents, we want you to understand that your role is not just about, as a guard home, ensuring that they, carry out those tasks. I want you to understand as well, your role is also to motivate your child. Sometimes they may feel that they cannot do it. Sometimes they may feel like, this is a bit much, etc. And in life, it's going to be like that sometimes. Sometimes we hit that wall. But the fact is that they have all the resources to climb that wall, to get through that wall. So parents, I want you to always encourage you to motivate your child. Let them know that they are loved, regardless of their academic performance, but also to motivate and encourage them to give their best. Sit with them when they are studying if you want. And if they need a study buddy, you sit with them so that they have a companion when they are studying as well, right? Or check up on them to ensure that they are studying. Offer them, like nurture them in terms of it. Rather than you do your homework, let it not be a moment of scolding, but more a moment of working and training and nurturing your child as well, so that they would want to do it. So rather than try to beat your child into the schoolwork, right? Or buff them into it, the whole idea is to nurture them into doing it as well, so that it becomes more habitual as well. Of course, feel free at any point that you're having challenges, consult with us as well, right? If there are any problems you're recognizing or you have any concerns, work with us, because we have a vested interest in your child. So you're not doing this alone, and we are not doing this alone. Collectively, we are working together to ensure that your child is successful as well. And to you, the student, what is your role? Because all of this is about you. You are the focus of our attention. You are the focus of all that CTS is. So when we sit down and create plans, our plans are about you and how to make the best out of you, how to help you to be your best. So you could have all the support mechanisms in place, but all of it will fail unless you take an effective role in managing yourself as well. You are ultimately responsible for your success. No parent, no school, nobody else is going to be is responsible. You are ultimately responsible. But the fact is, we are ensuring that we provide all these avenues to ensure you succeed. Because at the end of it, if you don't want to study or you don't want to attend class, there are some things we can't force you to do, right? But I trust the fact that you're here is an indication that you're willing to start that process, right? And our role is to help and nurture and encourage you to be successful. So you need to frequently attend your classes, to at all times attend classes, to be on time, to have to be attentive as well during class, to ask questions. Don't be a shy guy. We want you to ask questions in class. We want you to be curious. It's okay to be wrong at times if you answer a question incorrectly. That's not a big issue. The fact is that learning is taking place. Sometimes you have to fail in order to succeed. So therefore, we want you to feel confident about asking questions. And I'm encouraging my teacher as well to ensure that in class that, you don't just ask those who are answering, right, who have their hands raised to answer. Try to get everyone to be part of the class as well. Ensure that no one is left behind, okay? Also, you need to do past papers frequently. Your teachers will be giving you past papers to do, but not because for homework, they only give you 2 past paper questions means that is all you're going to do, right? We want to encourage you to do even more, to go beyond the call, and that is how you're going to achieve your distinctions and higher grades, right? So you're also encouraged to use the student support group through Linden if ever you think that you need additional help as well, right? If you think that you're having some challenges with studying as well, we have a counselor as well who's available, right? There's no cost to you. It's our cost for the counselor. But the fact is that we provide counseling for students as well, should we recognize any need that arises as well. So parents, you're having a challenge with getting your child to study as well, we are more than happy to have a session with the counselor, right? I want you to understand the counselor may not be, there are stigmas sometimes attached to the counselor, but the fact is that you don't want to change and break those kind of traditional stigmas. The counselor's role is to help all of you get the best, right? So to get the best out of the situation as well. So to help your child to be the best. So please, if you need to feel free to tap into them. So that's a bit in terms of the role of the various persons. What I will do at this time as well, as I said, we also focus on the holistic development of your child. So apart from the professional development series that we have on a Friday, right? Cts College also has a social events committee. And the social events committee is also to arrange a series of social events as well, right? And part of the social events would be like hikes, lip sync battle, movie night, etc., ziplining, turtle watching, dinner, and beach cleanup and stuff like that, helping needy families, visiting the home and helping out, right? Those sort of things, those are the role of the social events committee. But we recognize because of the situation now, some of these activities have been postponed because of the whole COVID situation as well. So what I will do at this point, I'm going to pass, well, before I pass over to Lyndon, I don't know if there are any questions, comments, concerns you guys have before I pass you over to Lyndon. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so that Lyndon can take over and we can see each other. Guys, do you have any particular question, comments, concern, anything you'd like to raise?
Yeah, hi, good day. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, my son's name is Samir Ali, and he attends St. George's College, and he's entering Form 3. Now, my concern is in school, he have to log in for normal attendance. So I'm strongly relying on the recorded classes for my son to participate. So my question to you is, will he be at a disadvantage with regards to like weekly tests and the midterm tests, relationship with the teachers and stuff? How would this work? Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, we have day classes and we have evening classes. So if he's in the day classes and therefore he'll be doing classes at his school and he'll be missing out on our class and he'll view the recording. So in that regard, naturally, a lot of the relationship building takes place in the class, but he has access to all the resources, the WhatsApp group, etc., to reach out to us. So while he would not be in class, right, the reality is that he still has access to the teacher through the WhatsApp group and could ask and raise any questions. He will still have access to the weekly test because, as indicated as well, if a child missed the weekly test, it's not that they're getting away from it. They still have to do the weekly test because, so the weekly test could be administered in any way possible because they will need to log in and do the weekly test, right? Or even still submit the paper depending on if how soon we move to the learning management system, right? IBSync Academy. But the weekly test is mandatory for all students. So therefore, even if you're absent, you're still required to undertake the weekly test. If he's in the evening classes, however, he would be able to meet, he'll be in those classes with the teacher, right? But if he's in the day classes, naturally, these are some of the challenges we have, but to work around it, he'll have access to the other approaches to meet with teachers as well. And we will also have Lyndon will normally organize parent teachers meeting as well during each term as well. So we will have those. It's going to be online and you get to meet with us and meet with your teachers also, right? Thank you, Sophia. Any other question? All right, well, guys, I'm going to pass you over to Lyndon, and Lyndon is going to take over now, and we'll be doing his presentation also. Seeing there's some stuff in the chat. Okay, gotcha. Will homework still be on Google Drive as well? We would put it, but when we transition from the shared drive to the learning management system, we would phase out the Google Drive, right? So the Google Drive is used initially, and eventually it will be phased out because everything will be on the learning management system. So that's the answer question in the chat. Lyndon?
Hi, Ralph. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, bud.
Okay, so again, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody
Good morning,
up?
Lyndon.
Morning.
Okay, great. So let me just get my presentation here, 1 minute. Okay, so again, thanks everyone for joining us this morning for the information session as for the orientation for the CTS College private secondary school. I know over the past couple of weeks, I was able to meet stuff like that when they came in to register because I was at the office, as well as some of you would have already reached out to me via WhatsApp and stuff like that. So just basically to reiterate some of the stuff that Mr. Raghunath would have also covered this morning, as well as to go over some important informations that was shared as well, just to ensure that everybody understands. Right, so again, my name is Lyndon Brown, and I am the program manager of the CXC program, or the CTS College Private Secondary School, and also the CTS College Private Primary School at CTS College. My information is on the screen here. My email address, it's lbrown, brown as in the color, at ctscollege.com. And my contact would be 753-2330. So after the information, after the orientation, feel free to WhatsApp me or feel free to call me. I will be available. My hours of availability is usually between as early as 7:30 to 8 or 8 a.m. till 7, right? And that is usually the time when classes for the evening students usually end or is currently in progress. So again, if you have any questions at any point in time, you could reach out to me via WhatsApp and I would be available. Okay? Everybody have that information. So far, I will just take that information and also copy it into the chat. One moment. Right, so that information was placed in the chat, so you can also copy it as well. Right, so I know Mr. Raghunath would have gone through this information extensively as well. And I know over the past, even up to yesterday, I was talking to another parent and she stated that her child is just wrote SEA and they're only 11 years old and they're now coming into secondary school, or what am I going to do with them after they finish secondary school and that kind of thing. Again, as I said in the information section, CTS College is the one-stop shop for education. We have everything from SEA, CXC, go straight up to your master's degree. So once you allow us to cultivate your child, once you allow us to get or grasp that opportunity to have them join us, we do assure you that we would take good care of them. I am highly confident in all of the teachers that we have at CTS College that they would be able to effectively deliver the subject areas, which they have been doing so over the past couple of years at CTS College. And based on the testimonials that we had from the past students as well as past parents in the information session, it is indeed a pleasure to be part of a program that is so great, because for me, if I was able to complete CXC within 1 year, I'm sure I would have probably finished my master's by now. Or if I was able to have the level of support that we provide here at CTS College in terms of past paper questions, in terms of having access to WhatsApp groups. Well, I mean, back in my time, I'm not so old, right? But back in my time, we didn't actually have WhatsApp to communicate, but we more or less had Facebook, or when we actually went to school, number or anything like that, unless you see them in the corridor when they come to class. So just by being in a WhatsApp group with your peers or your classmates and your teachers and your program manager, it's a plus, already a win situation, because at any point in time, and this has happened in previous terms, students may have questions at all 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night, and sometimes I'll be like, but these children are sleeping. And you would find that coming on closer to exams, and to believe it or not, the teachers would respond. If they don't respond right away, they would get a response next morning. So that is the type of support that we have here at CTS College. So even though I would be available up until 7 or sometimes a little after, dependent on when we have SBAs and stuff like that coming up, and the WhatsApp groups would be made available, parents and students are also reminded or asked to be mindful of the teachers' time as well. Because, you know, sometimes they may have classes, and when they have the other classes, they would the WhatsApp, right? Additionally, when it's time for exam, you know, Mr. Raghunath touched on the PTA meetings as well. We do have at least 4 PTA meetings, and that is 2 PTA meetings per term. So what would happen is that after every examination, we would have a PTA meeting. Now, given the current situation with COVID-19, we may have to restructure the PTA meeting, and it may be a bit longer for the teachers, especially in the daytime classes. And the reason for saying that it will be a bit longer is that if we are giving one-on-one feedback about a particular student, right, we don't want other students within that same class or subject area to hear the feedback, whether it be good, whether it be bad, whether it be indifferent. So what we'll do is I will try to set up different windows, and I will send parents email giving them ample time so that they would know that my time slot is at 5:15 p.m. And from 5:15 to 5:20, you would log in to speak with the English teacher, you would log in to speak with the mathematics teacher and stuff like that. Right? And it is very much important, and I would still post the information on the WhatsApp groups as well. I spoke about the WhatsApp groups, but we would be having a separate WhatsApp group for, okay, is everybody able to hear me clearly? Yes.
Yeah, you're just logging up.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, but you're sounding a little distorted.
Okay, let me see if I can change my location. 1 minute, please. Okay, guys, is everybody able to hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I apologize about that. So basically what I was saying is that for the PTA meetings, what we'll do for the parents is that send out a set time so that they would be able to log in to meet with the teachers to get feedback on their child or children's performances during the course of the term. More so, I know there are part-time students on the orientation as well. We usually do not provide PTA meetings because those students are a little more mature students that is in the afternoons. However, though, if we do have parents that have students in the afternoon classes, for example, like biochem, physics, etc., you can reach out to me and let me know if you would like to meet with the teachers, and I would be able to assist you in setting up a meeting with the teacher, okay? As well as the teachers would be applied to the WhatsApp groups. As I was stating before, I started to break up a little bit, we would have a separate group for parents, which would be the PTA group, right? So that the communication would not be lost in the subject groups as well. So that that group would be more or less to correspond with parents to let them know exactly what is taking place in the classes, as well as how when we have important dates coming up again, like PTA meetings, midterm and end of term examinations, sending out calendar dates and stuff like that. As well as when we are applied to the groups, again, students and parents are reminded that sending like long videos or pictures and that kind of thing, we try to eliminate that process, or we try to move away from that. So we are mindful of students or parents' storage space on their devices, right? In the event that you have to send something to your teacher, or your teacher has to send something to you, they would be utilizing your email addresses, and they would have access to your emails. So again, it is important to pay attention, or pay very much close attention to your emails on a regular basis, because that, apart from the WhatsApp groups, that is the #1 way we communicate here at CTS College. So once an email is sent, I would take it upon myself to post it in the other WhatsApp groups. So sometimes if I send an update stating that class is starting on Monday, for example, and it has 7 WhatsApp groups, and you apply to 5 out of the 7 WhatsApp groups, you would get that message 5 times. And the reason for this is because not every student is doing the same subject. So to ensure that all messages are corresponded, or all students get the message that classes would be starting, we would be sending that information, right? So moving along, as we know, the platform that we would be using would be Zoom. And I guess I don't need to go over how to download the Zoom application, because guess what? Everybody is currently using it right now, right? The class ID would be sent tomorrow, Sunday, September 6, 2020. So you can look out for that information from me tomorrow, like say around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I will be sending out the emails to students. So I'll be flooding your inbox tomorrow with regards to emails for classes that would be starting on Monday, the 7th of September. All right. Anybody have any questions so far? Right. So as Mr. Raghunath would have touched on the CTS online learning management system, when every student was registered with CTS College, we would have registered them using IBIS Link. As Mr. Raghunath would have mentioned, IBIS Link is the platform that we would be utilizing for the examinations, as well as to store notes and stuff like that. And I will get into further details as to what the purpose of the online management system is for, right? The email that you would have used to register for classes with us is the same email that you are using to set up your IBIS Link account. So what would happen is that I'm going to post a link, this link here, in the chat. Right? And this link, once you click on this link, it will take you to your IBIS Link portal, right? Outside of the portal, what would happen is that you would put in your email address. When you put in your email address, you would then click on the option that says forget password. When you click on the forget password option, it would send you a password reset link in your email address. So whether you have a Gmail, a Hotmail, a Ymail, a Yahoo account, Outlook, iCloud, it would send you an email to that email address directly. What you would then do is to need to click on that link and reset your password. So you'll put in a new password, and then you'll put in the confirmation password, which is the same password that you entered previously, and you click save. then it would ask you to log in using your email address and your password. Once you log in, you would be able to have access to your IBIS Link account. Now, every student must complete this task by Monday. So it is important that everybody writes down the link that I posted in the chat, which is www.ibislink.com. And when you go onto IBIS Link, you reset your password so that when we officially launch the online learning management system, it wouldn't be a hassle for everyone to log in, but everybody would know exactly how to log in. If at any point you are experiencing any technical difficulties in logging into the online learning or to IBIS Link, just send me a message and I would be able to assist. But I need for you to go through the necessary steps first. So when you put in the www.ibislink.com in your URL on your phone or on your laptop or whatever the case may be, you are putting in your email address, then you're clicking forget password. It would send you a reset to your email account. You're clicking on the link in your email, and then you're going to put in the new password that you wish to use. Remember to create a password that you would be easily able to remember. Right? So if you can have that completed by today and tomorrow or over this weekend, that would be perfect. And during the course of the week, I'll be checking in with students to ensure that they have access to their IBIS Link account. Now you can customize your IBIS Link account. You can upload a profile picture, anything that you're comfortable with so that we'll know exactly who you are, right? And just to go over the purpose of the online management system is basically to store recordings, notes, homework, midterm and end of term examinations. That is where you would be doing the exams within an allotted time frame. Term report cards, marks from examinations, disciplinary letters, etc., and personal records like payments and receipts made. So let me just touch a little bit on report cards, right? So what would happen is that at the end of every midterm and end of term examination, your teachers would post your results on IBIS Link. Every student, once they have access to their IBIS Link account, once the marks have been published, they would be able to log into that IBIS Link account and see what marks they would have gotten in the classes, as well as, or in the exam, sorry, as well as what would happen is that you would see the percentage, and we try to use, or we use the grading system according to CXC. So based on your percentage that you would have received, you would see what grade you get, whether it be a grade 1, a grade 2, a grade 3, so on and so forth. So that the parents would be able to see exactly how you are scoring during that time. During that time, in terms of getting the grades, right, when we have PTA meetings, you can download your report card and take it to the PTA meeting, and the teacher would already have the grade with them, and you tell them your name when you log in, and they have an online conversation with you based on your performance and where you would have lost marks and stuff like that. Everybody understand so far? Parents, do you have any questions in regards to the report cards? Right, so after every examinations, which would be the midterm examination, the end of term examination, we would be having PTA meetings, as well as you would see the published report cards. And once you click on it, based on how much subjects your child is doing, you would get their overall percentage. So you will know exactly how they would have done within that examination period. Obviously, students would be given ample time to prepare for the examinations. Again, that information would be sent via email. It would be sent via WhatsApp messages and the timetable, so that they would know exactly when the exams are, so that they would be able to prepare properly for the exams. Understood? As well as personal records and payments. The personal records and payments is basically whatever subjects you are registered for, you would be able to see those subjects in the online registration, online management system, as well as if you have any outstanding balances or when a payment is due or when you made your last payment, you could always refer to that IBIS link account and you get access to it and you see the information there, right? If you don't understand how the invoices are made out, you can always contact me and I'll be happy to go through the invoice with you to make sure that you have a fair understanding how it is done or you're invoiced on the system. Everybody understand so far, right?
Yes,
Great.
we do.
Yes, wait, I just have a question though.
Sure.
In terms of the resetting our IBIS passwords and stuff, I had reset it, I think yesterday or day before. Do I have to reset it again?
No. Once you already have access to your IBIS link account, that is perfectly fine. But for those of you who never went into the IBIS link account, but you would have already received the email, that is what I need for you to do is to go in and activate the account.
All right, no problem.
Great. So for the timetable, as Mr. Raghunath would have indicated, the timetable is basically 1 3-hour session per subject, and all sessions would be recorded and they would be sent out to the students accordingly. All right, and this is basically the timetable. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds to review the timetable for persons who would have already been registered or would have attended the information session. That information would have also been sent to your email addresses. So what I will do is that when I create the WhatsApp groups, right, you would get the timetable again. So I know Mr. Raghunath would have spoke highly about the WhatsApp group and stuff like that. I'm just asking parents to please bear with me. I am working on getting that up and running at the shortest possible time, preferably before Monday. What I will be trying to do is to at least have the classes that would be starting Monday activated, the groups activated first. So for example, maths, EDPM, bio, and chemistry would be starting Monday. So I would try to create those groups first, right? As well as, you may not know, but I also have SEA classes starting as well. So I also have other parents to ensure that they're prepared for classes as well. So I'm just asking that everyone please bear with me as I create those groups and have everybody set up for Monday. But I do assure you that the links would be sent tomorrow. So I would urge everyone to check their emails tomorrow for the links for the upcoming classes. Everybody understand that? And while I'm talking about the Zoom link as well, the links does not change. So at no point, unless we have a technical difficulty, which rarely happens, the link would remain the same. Now, even though you are registered to the classes, or you may have family registered, may not be registered to the classes, or whatever the case may be, you are not to share any of that information with students outside of CTS College. It is the property of CTS College and yourselves only. Okay? So I just wanted to make a gentle note of that as well. So everybody would have looked at the timetable. Again, when I am sending out the welcome email later on this afternoon, I would attach another copy of the timetable. And parents, please ensure that your children print it out and hang it up on the side of their bed like a nice little wall plaque so they will know exactly when they have classes. Any questions in regards to the timetables? Right. So before I move on from the timetable, I know we are having a holiday that is coming up in the month of September, which is Republic Day. And Republic Day is basically a Thursday. And the classes that would be affected would be Principles of Accounts, Office Administration, Mathematics, Social Studies. Kindly note that I have already been working on makeup classes. So I would just let the students know when the makeup classes for those sessions would be, so that the students wouldn't miss any of the upcoming notes and stuff like that. Everybody understand, right? Great. So over the past couple of weeks as well, when students have been registering, they have been asking what materials they would need for classes and stuff like that. The basic materials would be needed, of course, as though you're going into classes for the first time, because obviously it is a new school term. It's not a continued term like if we're finishing in December and starting January. It would be new subjects that you would be doing. So obviously you would need pens, pencils, notebooks for different subject areas. Scientific calculators is a must for mathematics, as well as principles of accounts, a geometry pan. For those of you who are doing EDPM, you would also need a calculator, I believe. Sorry, office administration, I apologize. You would also need a calculator as well for when Ms. Ramperas has to go through the accounting aspect of the subject. A geometry pan for plotting of graph, as well as a graph book for when you also have to plot graphs as well. You'd also, the most important thing on this list right now is a flash drive. And the flash drive would be utilized for your SBAs, right? Now, over the years, or within the past 2 years of managing the program, I have met different excuses as to why students lost their SBAs, right? It's because they didn't store it in the right place, they don't have a flash drive, the flash drive lost, they wiped their flash drive. My advice to you is to try to store your SBAs is in as much places as possible. So if you know your mommy and your daddy have an email your mommy, your daddy the SBAs. Store it on at least two flash drives. At least send it to me. Your teachers would also have a copy as well, right? But the SBA is your responsibility. And again, parents, this is where your assistance would come in, where we would need you to assist us. Because the classes are not done face-to-face, it may be a bit difficult for us to be calling every minute to ensure that the SBAs are completed, which we would do, right? But you are also required to ensure that your children participate in the SBAs, as well as midterm and end of term examinations. Again, just like the midterm and end of term examinations, we would be sending out notifications. And for the final PTA for term 1, or be in the middle of term 1, we would let you know when the SBAs would be starting. Just to let you know, so that you could always have that in the back of your head, the SBAs would be starting by the second week in December. So during your I know some persons will ask, well, school is closing for Christmas and I wouldn't have anything to do. Guess what? You have no Christmas vacation. So all the lamb, ham, jam, nice baked bread, cake, sweet bread and everything, that will be eaten another time. But during the month of December, what would happen is that you would be working on your first draft for your SBAs. So it is important that you make note of that from now, so it doesn't come as a surprise to any one of you, right? As well as for all students, both full-time and part-time students, if you're on the orientation as well. Registrations for CXE usually begin at the end of October into November, right? What would happen for the full-time students, I would be personally taking care of the registration for the examinations. So I would send emails to parents when I would need a copy of the birth certificate and the IDs and stuff like that. For students who is over the age of 15 or turning 15 or 14 years and a half, you can start going to the warden office, I believe it is, to get your ID cards, as well as if you have a passport, because what happens is that when you go to write examinations, the examiners are now asking for ID to go into the exam room. So it is important that once you are 15 years and over, you have an ID. If you are under the age of 15 and you are writing exams, you would be required to work with your birth certificate, so that we would be able, or the examiners, sorry, would be able to verify the person coming to write the exam. And that's basically the purpose of having the IDs. Any questions so far?
Hi, can you just repeat when registration for CXT will be again, please?
Sure. So registration for CXC would be starting, or usually starts, I should say, at the end of October into November. So what would happen is that I would let you guys know when the registration process has started, and I would start registering the students for the examinations. Okay, for the part-time students, because you would be classified as private candidates, you would have to register onto the Ministry of Education's website. And once you fill out that information, you would be able to submit, and you would select the area where you're from to write the examination. During the orientation, I would have sent the link, but the link would be reiterated in the groups as well. For the students who are doing biology, chemistry, and physics, those subjects are GCSE subjects. It means that you would not be doing the regular CSEC classes for those subject areas, but you would be doing paper 3, and paper 3 is a substitute for the SBA, which would mean you'd be writing the Cambridge examination, right? And to register for those examinations, you would have to do so at upper level educational institute. We would provide you with all the information as to how to go about in registering. The forms would be available at the office via hard copy, as well as I would also send you soft copies via email as well as I'll also send it in the WhatsApp group, so you can pay attention to those information, so that when you get it, you know exactly when to register. And please, 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 I beg, do not wait until it's last minute. Part-time students or full-time students doing biochemistry and physics as well to register for the exams, because what would happen is that usually sometimes there are clashes. So you would need to speak with upper level, and they would have you do the exams at an earlier time. So it is very much important to register early, so that if there's any clashes within the examinations, we would know exactly how to deal with that situation. Everybody understands that so far, right? Any questions so far? Great. Right, so coming down to my favorite part of today, I know Mr. Raghunath would have touched on the class rules. So I am just basically going to reiterate some of the class rules as well. So for the virtual classroom rules, all cameras should be on unless stated otherwise by the teachers. And that, as Mr. Raghunath would have stated, that is to ensure that all students are paying attention during classes and we have their undivided attention, okay? Mics must be muted to avoid background noise, so you find a quiet area at home where there's not much distractions or noise, so that when you have to ask a question, there are not any issues being met, right? Students should be readily available to answer questions posed by teachers. So you're not gonna sit in a class and be quiet at all the time. That is not the purpose of the classes. We encourage classroom interactions, and we expect all students to interact. So that is the purpose of your cameras being on. So for those of you who are on the orientation today and you hear that the cameras must be on, you must be properly attired, and I'll come down to that shortly. Okay? And you can't say, sir or miss, my cameras are not working. You must get a good functioning device so that we would be able to meet the quality of the classes as well. When logging into Zoom, students must rename their device to their government name or their full name. So for example, my name is Lyndon Brown. When I'm logging into any class, I must rename my name, sorry, Lyndon Brown, right? So that when the teachers are taking the roll, they would easily know who is in the class. As well as in the event that you're using your parents' devices, you rename your device, your parents' devices, to your name for the duration of the class. And it's very easy to do so, or the teachers would change their names for you as well, right? Students must comply to all class rules and participate accordingly, or they would be removed. So if at any point in time a teacher is in the classroom and they call on you one time, they leave you, you didn't answer. They call on you a second time, they leave you, you didn't answer. Third time, we're not going to let it happen a fourth time. You would automatically be removed from the classes. The teachers would send me a report of the persons who were removed, and I would make contact with the parents. The sole purpose of the classes is to ensure that everybody's understanding, and we would not be able to know if anybody is not understanding if there's no interaction, if persons are not answering questions when they are posed questions by the teacher. Everybody, parents, you agree with me? Yeah?
Yeah, that's good.
Great. Breaks would be given at the teacher's discretion, right? So we know at some point in time it would be a bit hard to concentrate during the course of the classes or whatever the case may be. So each teacher or teachers, all teachers know how much breaks they are allotted per session or the time limit for their breaks. So they would be letting you know, okay guys, we're now going to take a 5-minute break, a 10-minute break, and we're going to reconvene at this particular time, right? So when they send you for a break, it doesn't mean that you will go outside or go down the road and not come back to classes. The break is basically for you to stretch, get something to drink, get a light snack, and then we reconvene the classes, right? Students are asked to log in, or they would be marked as absent or late, right? So if you don't log in on time, yes, you would be marked as late, right? And this would affect your attendance, right? As same as if you are absent. What would happen is that once you have a low attendance, parents, you would be getting letters from me, which would be going on the student's record as well as in the event that they are absent for more than 3 sessions within a given term, you would be given a letter as well, right? Students are required to complete all homework and participate in classroom activities. Mr. Raghunath would have gone through that in great extent. Poor excuses would not be accepted. And this is where the assistance of the parents would come in. Waking up late for classes are no-no. Because obviously if you had face-to-face classes, you had to get up at a particular time. So, so if you know that all classes start at 9, you're not gonna roll off your bed at 9:50 and then scratching your eye, your hair messy, you don't have on proper clothing and stuff like that, right? Forgetting the login ID. The login ID would always be posted in the WhatsApp groups, right? For the first 2 weeks, I would take it upon myself to send it back again just before classes start. I would send it before classes start, and approximately 30 minutes before class start, I will send it back again. If students are having any issues in logging in, they should let us know as soon as possible so that we would be able to rectify the issues. Of course, we would not be able to control unforeseen circumstances like electricity going and poor internet connection and stuff like that, but we try to advise that you make every attempt to log in as early as possible to the classes. In the event that during a teaching lesson, students have to step away from the classes or from the teaching period with the teachers, you have to privately message your teacher and ask for excuse so that they would know when you are not in the class. And when you return, you just inform them, Miss, I am back, or Sir, I am back, or whatever the case may be. Everybody understand that so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Great. Students are to be properly attired at all times for all classes. So it doesn't mean that one day you feel to wear a vest, the next day you feel to wear a jacket. There must be consistency across the board because remember your cameras would be on, right? And the sessions would be recorded. Students are asked to log in at least 5 to 10 minutes before, like I indicated, to avoid technical difficulties. If at any point in time you don't understand what is taking place in the classes, you need to ask a question, you could always use the raise your hand feature that is on Zoom, and you can ask any questions, and once the subject teacher or your teacher see that your hand is up, they would be able to assist you accordingly. Right? There shall be no eating during classes. Yes, we understand you're in the comfort of your home, but sometimes if your camera is on, it would be distracting. Your classmates are seeing you eating during the session. That is why we have breaks, and that is why we have a 1 hour lunch period. You can eat and drink during, well, you can eat during that time. Obviously, if you're in the class session, you are free to drink water, whatever the case may be. All right. The use of cell phones are prohibited during classes unless you are using your device to access Zoom. So if you're in class and you're just scrolling through your phone and you're not paying attention to the lesson, that is one of the reasons why you could be removed from the classes. So again, parents, we are asking for your assistance in this aspect as well to ensure that the students are able to pay attention during the sessions while the teachers are conducting the lessons. Students are reminded that each sessions are recorded for later use, so they are asked to be mindful of what is being said during classes or while classes are being recorded. So during the time that classes are being recorded and stuff like that, we try to maintain a level of professionalism during the classes to ensure that the quality of the classes are met, so that in the event that you have to go back to the recording and stuff like that, you would be able to understand what was taking place and not be distracted by the commotion in the class. Okay? At any point in time, if you have any questions at the end of classes, you can use the raise your hand feature. After classes, you can use the WhatsApp group to reach out to the teachers as well. If any teacher is not applied to the WhatsApp group, you would have access to their emails and you would be able to email them accordingly. Anybody have any questions or concerns as it relates to the virtual classroom rules? No. Okay, great. Note that Cts College Private Secondary School reserves the right to modify these rules with immediate effect to ensure the safety and quality of our classes are met. And these rules can change by the time Monday. These rules can change at any given time to ensure the security of our teachers as well as our students as well. Note again that the recordings are only for your personal use and not to be shared with anyone outside of Cts College. Obviously, in the event that you're unable to attend any classes at any given time, you send us a WhatsApp message via the group, or you send me a message so I can notify the teacher to mark you absent. And when you go back over the roll, when you have time, you go back over the recording. And it would be required of you to go through the recording, because obviously you would have homework, as Mr. Raghunath said, every week from your teachers. And I do have confidence that every teacher does give homework in all of their classes, and these classes would have past paper questions. I know some persons would have reached out as well in regards to books that would be required for these sessions. The books would be, all the books that we would be using would be made available via soft copy on the drive. Right when we switch over to the online learning management system, those said books that would be utilized in the classes would be made available. I know 2 teachers that I am confident that would be using books would be for EDPM and Office Administration, which is with Ms. Stacy Ramparas. And Mr. Ramdas also has his personal handouts for principles of business that he utilizes for both teaching as well as for past paper questions. And Ms. Bahau also have past paper questions booklet available. But those would be made available for you via the online drive, and everything would be up and running by Monday. So again, if you have any questions during that time, feel free to WhatsApp me. Again, the WhatsApp groups will be made available. So now what I would like to do is that I would like to introduce some of the teachers that would be teaching in the classes, right? I am seeing that there's quite a few on here. They will just briefly turn on their camera and introduce themselves. So first, I would like to call on Mr. Emmanuel Lashley, and he would introduce himself and his subject area.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Emmanuel Lashley, and I'm the chemistry teacher at CTS College. Nice to meet every one of you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Nice to meet you.
All right. So far, I'm happy with what I'm hearing, what Lyndon is saying. I'm glad to see all of you guys, and I'm committed to the process of ensuring that we all are successful academically, as well as our personal development for your children, as well as the holistic view of each child as we go forward for this next academic term, right? So I look forward to the experience that we're gonna have from here forward. So it's going to be great, guys, and I'm sure that you're not making a mistake with choosing CTS at this point. Lyndon, over to you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So that was Emmanuel Lashley, and he is the chemistry teacher here at CTS College. Now I would like to introduce to you Miss Varsha Chotu.
Hi everyone, pleasant good morning. My name is Varsha Chotu and I am the biology lecturer at CTS College. It's wonderful to be here, to see all of you, to hear all of the questions that you would have. It makes me very optimistic as well for determine what to expect. I'm really looking forward to working with each and every one of you, and for sure, a very welcoming person, and I really love to work with my students to ensure their success in every particular aspect of their development. So I'm really looking forward to working with each of you and ensuring all of your success. So it's a pleasure, and until I see you at class.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chotu. Now I'd like to call on Mr. Vishal Gonada.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So I am Vishal Gunada, and I am the mathematics teacher at CTS College. I just want to share my personal motto with everybody. I believe that in learning, you would teach, and in teaching, you would learn. And I look forward to meeting each and everybody, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. And I look forward to seeing you all improve. And I love the fact that when I teach students, mathematics especially, you hear students, they making personal remarks like, oh, I now I understand this, what was so hard all about it all the time. And that for me as a teacher is very promising, and it makes me feel a sense of purpose in the classroom. I also like the fact that the parents are very supportive of our internal policy at CTS College, in terms of discipline. So I look forward to having many fun classes with you all. Bye.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Now I'd like to call on Mrs. Rachel and Thomas Jeremiah.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Ann Thomas Jeremiah. I will be teaching PUA. I am one who I love what I do, and I honestly look forward to working with each and every one of you. Teaching has been one of my passions. I love working with students, and I look forward to working with both students and parents. Feel free to let me know at any point what questions and concerns you may have, and I know that it is going to be a very exciting journey, and it's one that I'm prepared to take with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Jeremiah. I would now turn you over to Miss Shanola Cox.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am Shanola Cox. I would be teaching social studies part-time Thursdays, 5 to 8. I look forward to meeting with you all, taking your hands to those distinctions, and as well as preparing you for living and to be outstanding contributors to our society. Social studies is such an amazing subject area. It is very relatable, and so I look forward to just engaging with you and yeah, taking you to success.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Ms. Cox. Ms. Marissa Ramai.
Hi everyone, good morning. Are you all hearing me? I sort of have a hurricane going on by my house at the moment. But welcome to CTS College. My name is Ms. Marissa Ramai and I am an English lecturer, but specifically for this academic year, I'll be teaching the evening English class and the Saturday class along with the January class. So I'm really excited to get the ball rolling. I know that sometimes we have the misconception that English is a difficult subject, but I don't want you all to think that way. Just enter with an open mind and we are going to do excellent. So all the best, guys, and stay safe. And I'll see you guys for class next week.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ramai. Mr. Emil Wibby. Your mic on mute, Emil.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So my name is Mr. Emil Wibby, and I'll be the maths teacher for the full-time classes at CTS. So I know the main concern for the maths part would be how we're going to learn maths online. However, it is doable, and we'll definitely make sure that that transition from the classroom to online classes is effortless and fluent. And yeah, basically, I'll be there to make maths fun, and we'll definitely be learning a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wibby. Now, Miss Abigail Ignacio.
Are y'all seeing me?
Not
Hello?
yet. Yes, I'm seeing you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Miss Abigail Ignacio, as was introduced before. I would be the English teacher for the full-time students, which would be on Wednesdays. I look forward to working with you, and I hope that this experience is a very pleasing and exciting one. Looking forward to working with you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ignacio. So I believe that's all the teachers that we actually have on right now. But just to touch on some of the teachers that you did not meet today, for office administration and electronic document preparation and management, we have Ms. Stacy Ramperas, and you guys will be seeing her on Monday. For principles of business, we have Mr. Naris Ramdas. He teaches both evening and the full-time classes. And for information technology, we have Mr. Afraz Mohammed as well. So guys, what I would like to do now, before I turn you over to Miss Marissa, she will be doing the time management aspect of the presentation today, as well as preparing students or constructing a personal time, helping students construct a personal timetable. I would like to ask if there's any questions or concerns before we move on. No? Any questions, anyone?
No questions, thank you.
No problem. Hi, yes, Emil.
Emil here. What I did not mention is I will also be the teacher for IGCSE and the CSEC physics as well.
Yes. So we would also be teaching physics with us as well. So those of you who would be doing physics, look out for Mr. Emil on Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Right. So with that, seeing that we don't have any further questions, I would now turn you.
Good day.
Hi. Hi.
What I'd like to find out, the SBA, would it be done individually or would it be done in groups?
No, well, some of the SBAs are done individually, and some would be done in groups. For example, the English SBA has a lot of group work associated with it. So what would happen is that the teachers would set up the groups, right, and would meet with the students and let them know exactly what groups they are assigned to, so that they would be able to discuss the particulars for the SBA. In terms of the other SBAs, for example, like information technology, POA, POB, maths, those are individual SBAs. And obviously each student would be given a sample SBA, not a copy from, but to use as a guideline to properly prepare them in terms of submitting the SBAs. I know I would have touched on the start date for the SBAs being like the second week in December, which is right after the first end of term examination. The final submission for the SBAs is usually the week after Carnival. Well, we're not sure if we would have Carnival next year, but it would be the last week in February, right? So they would have until the second week in December to the last week in February to complete all the SBAs. Obviously, once we have cemented those dates, we would definitely let the parents and students know when first draft, second drafts, and third draft, and when the final draft is due for the SBA. Understood? Any other questions?
Hi, Nicole here. Morning,
Hi,
everyone. Hi, I just wanted to confirm, part-time students who are doing the evening classes, are they doing SBAs as well?
No, part-time students would only be doing the paper 3. So what would happen is that we would accumulate past paper questions with paper 3s for students who would be doing evening classes, because those students are private candidates. So those candidates would be doing paper 3 and prepared for that exam, in all subject areas, that is.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I turn over to Ms. Ramai?
I would like to find out, would exam be as normally scheduled in May, June, or would it be pushed back as this year, July, August?
I would like to say yes, but unfortunately, I would not be able to comment further on that. However, though, what I will do is that I usually keep abreast on the ministry's website as well as the CXC website. So I would definitely look at the dates to find out exactly what is taking place. In the event that there are any changes in the exam, teachers would firstly be notified so that we'll know exactly what is our process going forward. And then I would have a PTA meeting with the parents to let them know exactly what is taking place, as well as for the part-time students, they would also be notified via the WhatsApp groups, and I would pop in their virtual classes to let them know exactly what is taking place. So usually what would happen is that when classes start, whether it be this term, whether it be next term, in the middle of the term, at the end of the term, I usually go into the classes just to make announcements to ask them how they're going, and I don't only do that during face-to-face classes as well, or before exams. Okay, so again, if anyone has any additional questions post this session, you can reach out to me, but I wouldn't like to pick up any more time, so I will now turn over to Ms. Ramai, who will do her presentation. Ms. Ramai?
Hi, Lyndon. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning to parents present, guardians, students, and even members of staff at CTS College. My name is Ms. Marissa Ramay again, and as I said before, I am a part-time English lecturer at CTS College. So firstly, let me just thank you all for choosing CTS College, and it is indeed heartwarming to have you all here this Saturday morning with us. So my role here is basically to assist students and even parents with transitioning into CTS College. So I hope that you all enjoy the presentation, and if you all have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or just unmute your mics and talk to me, okay? So I'm gonna start sharing my screen with you guys, and I'll stop my video for a bit, but don't worry, at the end of the presentation, you'll see me once again. So you could let me know if you all are seeing my screen. Is everyone seeing my screen?
Yeah. Yes, thanks.
Okay, excellent. So as I said before, my role here today is just to simply help you guys with transitioning into CTS College. And before I begin, let's start with a brain teaser. So I have a simple question here for you guys. So feel free to unmute your mics and answer, or send your response in the chat. What do you think is the most underused resource in education today? And I don't want you all Googling answers right now, because I've been doing this online teaching for a while, and I know that it takes just a couple of seconds for you all to Google an answer. So anyone, what comes to mind immediately? What is the most underused resource in education today? A parent could answer, or perhaps a student. Are you all thinking, or are we still typing it in on Google?
Maybe creativity.
Creativity, that's a wonderful answer. Any other guesses?
I would say the internet.
The internet, okay. Any other suggestions? Just remember, we're looking for what is the most underused resource in education today. So something that we don't really use that much. So I'm seeing in the chat here, Elizabeth is suggesting perhaps technology. I'm also seeing a suggestion saying textbooks. Well, I'm so happy that we have a lot of parents present here today, because the most underused resource in education today is parental involvement. So how many of you guys were thinking that? So yes, it is parental involvement, and I'm very ecstatic that you all have joined me today. I'm seeing that Sion has a question. Okay, I think perhaps it was a mistake because your hand has been lowered now.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. So yes, the most underused resource in education today is parents. And COVID-19 has taught us that, you know, we have moved away from the physical classrooms and now we're into a virtual space. And as Mr. Brown and Mr. Raghunath reiterated earlier, parents, we need you guys to help us along the way. We have to work in conjunction. And I hope you guys do your part on your end, because we're gonna do our part. So with that being said, how many of you guys are familiar with this long P word? Procrastination. And I'm sure you all have heard this word before. Anyone is hearing this word for the first time? So I'm sure we are familiar with this word. And basically, what is procrastination? And you will see this right here on my screen, that procrastination is the thief of time. So how many of us like to procrastinate? I know I do at times. Anyone else has been procrastinating something? You have been putting it off, you have been not wanting to complete it?
Myself.
Yes,
My life story.
Parents, yes. That is true. And students, you guys would find yourself procrastinating at times. But remember, I'm here to teach you all about time management. And we're trying to step away from procrastinating, because although we're at home and we're comfortable, sometimes we still procrastinate and we delay things from being done. So we're going to try to break that habit a bit, right? So why do we procrastinate? And from being an educator, I have come up with some reasons as to why I think students procrastinate. Sometimes we procrastinate because of the fear of failure. We know that whatever we are putting off, we know that we are going to fail regardless. And we feel this way about particular subjects like math and English or even physics and so on. We know that if we do the assignment, we're still going to get it wrong. So we just put it off, we try not to do it. Or sometimes we are just lazy. We are just lazy. Although we are home, we don't have to get up and traverse for hours to get to a physical school. We are just lazy. Sometimes if the class starts at 9 o'clock, we're now waking up at 10 and we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that I had class. Or we're just feeling too tired to just touch our device and hit that link and join the class. And popular one, we are easily distracted. How many of you all have been distracted since this orientation session has started? Maybe you are on your devices, you're trying to multitask and watch TV. Any of y'all were distracted? Okay, so I think y'all don't want to admit it. Jaden, you want to admit it?
Yeah, I don't mind admitting it.
You've been distracted, right? Or even sometimes we think that we are procrastinating is a bit boring. So it's not of interest to us, it's very boring. So we just keep delaying it, we're just putting it off because, you know, we're not really interested and it's just plain boring. Or maybe we don't have the zeal or the passion to complete tasks, we're not feeling motivated enough. And what are some of the reasons why you guys procrastinate? Or did all these options just hit the nail? Yes, Jaden?
Yeah, I procrastinate either when I'm bored or I already know about a certain thing. So yeah, that's why I procrastinate.
Okay, very good. I appreciate the honesty. Any other reasons why you guys procrastinate? Why you all just keep putting off doing something? So I'm seeing in the chat here that someone is saying that they're not seeing my screen. Anyone else is not seeing my screen?
I'm seeing it fine.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. We're seeing it.
Okay, because I'm seeing that someone said that they're not seeing my screen. Okay, probably
so for the person who is seeing the screen, you may have to try logging out and logging back into the session, please, if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you so much for the assistance there, Lyndon. So any other reasons why you guys procrastinate, or all these options here, they really covered why we procrastinate? Yeah? So my role here is to teach you guys about time management, because even as adults, even as children, as students, we do procrastinate and we don't understand basically what time management is and how we could try to manage our time properly. So by definition, time management is just to improve your work performance. So that's why we need to practice time management, so that we could really try to improve that work performance, and just so that you could complete your task in a timely manner. And timely manner doesn't mean that you're completing your task 5 minutes before class or a couple hours before class. It actually means, you know, completing it some days before, because sometimes when you finish your work, a good habit is that maybe later on you could revisit it, just to edit it to see, you know, if you wrote down everything that you wanted to. So we're trying to complete our work, yes, but not in a rushed manner, but a timely manner. So I want you all to think of time like a closet. So it's a limited amount of space that's only going to fit so much. So once you get a visual metaphor of time as a closet, it becomes so much easier to manage. How many of us, our closets are a hot mess right now? You don't have to say it out loud for everyone to hear, but I'm sure you're like nodding and you're like, yes, my closet is a mess right now. So think of time like that. We can't keep trying, you know, to fit everything into that limited amount of space. We need to organize it, just like how we organize our closet. So what I've noticed, and even scholars like Dodd and Sandham notice, that people who practice good time management techniques, you often find that they are more productive. So they get more work done. They even have more energy for things they need to accomplish, or they even feel less stressed. So I'm sure we're probably feeling stressed right now. Behind our necks is hurting because we've just listened to all this information, all the work that we have to do in the upcoming academic year, and we're feeling a bit stressed. And even when you practice time management, you are even able to do the things that you want to do, and you even get more things done. And you would notice that your entire aura would change. You would be positive to others, and you could even help others feel better about themselves. So you would notice that generally your entire attitude would change. And we all want to, you know, emit that positivity. We don't want to feel frustrated and stressed out. So I'm going to go through some strategies for effective time management. So before I start with the strategies, do you all have any questions thus far? So feel free to talk to me, right? Okay, so I take it that you will have no questions. So let's get started with some strategies for effective time management. And students, I want you all to pay particular attention to these strategies so that you could try and integrate them into your everyday routine and you can even practice them for this academic year. And parents, take note of these strategies as well, so that you can ensure that your child is practicing some of these strategies. So the first one is to have a dynamic task list. So how many of us would like to make to-do lists? I'm sure we have made some to-do lists in the past before.
Definitely. Yes.
Yes. So what we could do is that we can create a list of all the tasks and activities that you want to complete during the day. So just at the top of the day, try to create that list. But as the day progresses, be sure to update your list so you can check off the items that you have completed. Or if during the day you want to add new items to that list, you could jot it down into the list. And you could even keep referring to your list and keep it close by, because you want to ensure that you maximize your day, that you get as many things done as possible. So you want to have that dynamic list, dynamic meaning that is always changing. You're going to check off items, you're going to add items. So we want to have a to-do list so that we'll know exactly what we need to do. The second thing, and I think that this is one that we do the reverse for. So you'll see my picture here says win, what's important now, because we should focus on high value activities and we should start with what is most important. And this is an error that we make. Sometimes we start with things that are pretty minor and we leave all the important things for last. And what happens when you all leave the important things for last? Anyone knows what will happen when you leave all the important things for last?
They all bundle up and time runs out and you become overwhelmed.
Exactly. You become overwhelmed, you become frustrated, you become stressed out. And even when we are given assignments to complete, sometimes as students, we want to complete all the easy things first. So it makes more sense that if an assignment is due Wednesday and today is Tuesday, you do the assignment that's due Wednesday first. But sometimes as students, we want to do the assignment that's due next week or the week after. So logically, it doesn't make that much sense, right? We need to focus on what is most important. So when it comes to deadlines, be sure to look at the deadlines throughout and you complete your assignments based on the deadlines. So you don't want to spend time doing an assignment that's due a month away as opposed to an assignment that's due in a couple of days' time. So avoid beginning with all these small unnecessary items and just begin your day by simply conquering the tasks that will have the most positive effect. So you want to get that sort of morning inspiration, that motivation. So begin with some of the tasks that will really help in emitting positivity onto you. And you could also focus on the major task that you have to complete first. So do you all have any questions thus far? Any comments? Any suggestions? Okay, wonderful. And this slide is extremely important to minimize interruptions. And I'm sure you're like, oh boy, this is extremely hard. Yes, I know as students, it's completely hard, even as adults, to minimize interruptions. So the more uninterrupted time you get during the day to work on important tasks, the more effective you'll be. So try to identify all the activities that disrupt your work and see if you could find that solution. So for example, try to avoid checking messages and even answering the phone when you are in the middle of doing something really important. And even for you students, when classes start on Monday, try to avoid checking messages, answering the phones, browsing through your social media while class is going on. Yes, we know the duration of the class is just 3 hours long. You will be given a break to browse through your social media, reply to messages and so on. But when your lecturer is teaching, try to minimize those interruptions and try to, to not go through your phone, go through your social media and so on. Because once you have broken that flow, it could be very difficult for you all to reestablish it, to get back into it. So what you guys need to do is that you must discipline yourself to work on a task single-mindedly until it's complete. So don't try to work on too many things at once. Focus on that task until it is complete. So tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to check these WhatsApp messages until I'm finished completing these math problems. Or I'm not going to browse through Facebook until I'm finished with writing up, my HSB homework. So talk to yourself throughout the day, and try to minimize the interruptions. Number 4 says to stop procrastinating. Literally what the picture says, dude, you need to stop. So if you have difficulty staying focused or you tend to procrastinate, you may benefit from creating deadlines for yourself. And this is something that I personally do. Try to set little deadlines for yourself. So for example, if you sit down to do your homework at 8 in the morning, tell yourself, okay, by 11 o'clock, I should be finished with my math homework. And then maybe I'm going to resume at 12, and then I'm going to do some social studies homework, and by 2 o'clock, I should be finished. So set deadlines for yourself, and even talk to yourself. So sometimes, literally, all we need is just a little pep talk from the person who knows you best, and that person is you. So yes, talk to yourself, tell yourself, okay, I need to push hard. Let me just finish this within this allotted time so that I can relax and do something else that I want to do. Number 5 says to limit multitasking. So yes, many of us believe that, that when we multitask, that we could get many things done at the same time. Well, let me tell you, sometimes it's not that effective, right? We think that we could do multiple things at the same time. But whenever you find yourself multitasking, just remember this: stop, sit quiet for a minute, because in order to get those excellent results, we need to focus on one thing at a time. Try not to divide your attention doing too many things. Focus on one thing at a time and do it to the best of your ability. So you need to give your undivided attention to your homework, even for your revision, for exams, and even to your SBAs as well. And you would notice that you could also finish your task faster if you avoid multitasking. So yes, we're trying to minimize the interruptions, and we're not trying to multitask. When we are completing assignments, we want to focus on that assignment at the moment, do it to the best of your ability and complete it, and then you can move on to a different assignment. So are you all following thus far? Did I lose anyone? Wonderful. So the next point says to prioritize. Sometimes it's pretty difficult for us to figure out what is of priority. And I'm sure you all are like, yep, that's true. It's very difficult to figure out, what's important, what is of priority. So unimportant tasks, they tend to drain your energy, and they even consume a lot of your time. And your time needs to be dedicated for urgent and important tasks. Because remember, guys, we're trying to complete the CSEC syllabus in just 1 year. It is very possible. And once you practice these strategies, I can guarantee you're going to see excellent results. So for example, students, decide that spending 2 hours talking to your friend on the phone is more important than studying or completing assignments, because you have those friends that once you see their name pop up on your phone, you're like, this is going to be a long conversation, right? So you could just ignore the call, because you know that once you answer, that's it. You're going to talk for hours. So you all need to make some decisions here, right? Or now we have been in quarantine, everyone is making TikTok videos. So decide if making TikTok videos is more important than completing your SBA. So I really admire, the dedication you all put into making TikTok videos, editing the videos, coming up with all these ideas. And if you all could just channel that energy into your work, the results will be amazing. So kids, be sure to try to figure out what is of priority. And you have to make some decisions as well. We're getting older, we have to make decisions. So now is a good time to practice making important decisions. One important point, and I love this point because I always try to tell my students this. Sometimes, and parents, tell me if you all do this, right? Sometimes we want to see our children doing work 24/7. And I'm sure the kids are like, yep, that's my mom, that's my dad. They can't see me sit down for 2 minutes. Sometimes, yes, we are guilty of this occurring. We want to see our children doing work 24/7. We don't want to see them relaxing. And kids, you all know that it is very frustrating. It's impossible to sit down and do work 24/7, right? But we are human beings, and it's extremely important that you guys keep yourselves stress-free. So when you are stressed out, stress eventually reduces your productivity and even substantially affects your health. So this could be a major health concern, okay? So it is advisable to take a short break of just 5 to 10 minutes when you are at a, doing a long task. So if you know that when you sit down to do your homework, it's going to take 2 hours to complete these questions, spend like 30 minutes doing your work, then you stop for 5 to 10 minutes, then you resume and so on. Just to ensure that you are not becoming too frustrated. So during a break, what could you do? You could take a break, listen to music, you could eat something. Sometimes we just want to physically get up, go for a walk outside, socialize with our family, or be around people who would make you laugh. So if you find as though you're becoming extremely stressed out, stop, take a break, do what will make you calm again, okay? So be sure to remember this point because it's extremely important that we keep stress-free and we stay healthy. And what works for me, and I know that a lot of my fellow staff members, they have been utilizing this as well. You could use organizational and even planning tools. So what time management experts recommend is that you use a personal planning tool to improve your productivity. So there are many different planning tools that we could use. So I'm going to give you all a list and you all could choose whatever suits or whatever works best for you. So for example, we have electronic planners, we have pocket diaries, we even have calendars. So some of us prefer to get a huge calendar, stick it up in our room and we could jot down important information on it. We even have computer programs, even wall charts. Some people use index cards or even notebooks. Or, PriceMart, they have these whiteboards selling. I have one in my room as well. You could use a whiteboard. You could jot down important information there so that you would remember, because the more you see it, the more you're going to remember. So the key here is just to find one planning tool that works for you and just use that tool consistently. So whatever tool works for you, you could use that consistently. What are some other planning tools you guys use that I didn't mention here? Because there are lots and lots of planning tools. Anyone wants to share? So I think that perhaps what I've mentioned, you all use all those planning tools, yeah? And because we're in the age of technology, a lot of us, we just prefer to use the notes on our phone or even the calendar on our phone, so we could do that as well. So just remember, guys, we're just looking for one planning tool, and we're just going to stick to that tool and use it consistently. Number 9 says to celebrate small achievements. And this is the part that I look forward to the most, because after you have worked so hard, you want to celebrate your achievements, even if it's just a small achievement. So when you have reached, a milestone or a goal, it's very important that you reward yourself, because you have been putting in the work and you want to reward yourself. So for example, after spending hours of completing your homework, you could even just reward yourself with a simple thing like having your favorite dessert. You could even dedicate 40 minutes to watch a new episode that you've missed from your favorite TV series, because I know that recently we're all, on Netflix, we're home, we're quarantining, and we're just trying to catch up on TV series. So if you want, you could, when you've completed your assignment, then you could take the 40 minutes and watch an episode. Or sometimes for us, how we want to celebrate our small achievements is that, we just want to nap because we have been waking all night completing our work. So a nap will do just fine. So when you set rewards when you complete your assignments, it actually motivates you to complete your work quickly and effectively. So for example, if you know that, okay, a new episode came out today, last night, I can't watch it because I'm doing my work right now, then you are motivated to finish your work to the best of your ability to complete it at the moment so that you could spend time watching that episode afterward. So try to celebrate your small achievements. And number 10, I know Mr. Brown mentioned this as well, along with the principal, ask for help. Some of us, the CSEC syllabus is pretty new to us, and we may not know all the answers, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. So if you find that at times you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, you're feeling sort of maxed out for time to complete a task, just ask for assistance. And you could ask your friend, you could ask your relative, you could ask your lecturer as the program manager, or someone who is just equipped to assist you with your task. So try to email or message your lecturer. We have the WhatsApp groups, you have our numbers, our email addresses. So just, message or email your lecturer if you don't understand your homework, assignment, or even a topic that you've covered in class. So what we don't want is that we don't want you guys to sit at home trying to complete your homework by yourselves. There's no one there to help you, and you're wondering, I wonder if I message Miss, if she'll get annoyed, or if I email Sir, if he's going to respond. Do it. It never hurts to try and just reach out for help. We will respond to you guys. So asking questions, it will only make you better and even clear any misunderstandings you have. And one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of students believe that when you ask a question, it makes you look dumb or slow. Don't worry about anyone else. Don't worry what you think other people are thinking, okay? This is for the betterment of you, for your education. So ask your questions. Disregard what you think other people are going to say, because sometimes they have the same questions as well and they're just feeling embarrassed to ask it or even shy. So when classes resume on Monday, I want to see you all asking questions, and I want to see you all even reaching out for help when you all don't understand your assignments. And number 11 says to stay healthy. This point is extremely important. How many of us can say that since COVID-19 has struck, we have been, staying healthy, we have been exercising, we haven't been eating too much of the ice cream in the fridge or having a lot of desserts, we have been drinking our water. How many of us can honestly say that? No one? No one could honestly say that, yes, I've been keeping healthy? Or even as students, we tend to wake late at night completing our work and we want to snack. I know that this happens across the board, but when we're snacking, what are we snacking on, right? So we want to stay healthy. So the care and attention that you give yourself is an important investment of time. So what I've noticed is that I tend to get a rush of thoughts that surface to my mind after a good workout. Because after you exercise, you're feeling healthy, you're feeling good, your brain is functioning, and you just get a rush of thoughts. And even studies have shown that exercise not only helps to beat stress and enlighten your mood, but it also sharpens your intellect, and it even allows you to function better, and therefore it makes you more productive. So by following the recommended hours of sleep, which are between 7 and 8 hours, your body is better able to function properly. So be sure to schedule some time to relax or some time to do nothing. And eventually I'm going to show you all a planner that you all could utilize. But be sure to note that on your planner, I want you guys to promise me that you're going to schedule there some time to relax or even some time to do nothing. Because here you need to, rejuvenate your body. You need to rejuvenate yourself physically and mentally. And when you do so, you will be better able to complete your task that you have set. So how do we get started? Yes, I've given you guys some strategies, but how do we get started? And I want you guys to spend the rest of the day thinking about this as well. Try to find your strengths. So see what works best for you. So for example, do you study effectively at night, maybe early in the morning or afternoon? So you guys would know that, okay, at night when everyone is asleep, because I live in a home that is extremely noisy, I study best when everyone is sleeping at night. Or perhaps in the morning when no one is at home and you're just home alone, or even in the afternoon. So see what time of day works best for you and schedule that time of day for you to study. And even ask yourself, when do you have the most energy? Are you energetic in the morning, in the afternoon, or even at night? And I want you guys to also practice the write down principle. So when we have a principle, it means that, we have control. So if you have control, then you will not be stressed. So be sure to make your daily planner and even set, a goal or an expectation for yourself. So for example, if you have an assignment that is a speech that is due on Monday at 10 a.m., you could even predict your grade by saying, okay, I want to get a grade A after this assignment. So you can even set goals for yourself, and you know what? Try to conquer those goals, okay? Number 3 says to include free time. So yes, Some of us believe that we are robots, that we could do a lot of things, we could multitask and so on, that we could go all night without sleeping, but you are not a robot, unfortunately. We are human beings, and you need to schedule some time to do nothing and some time just to relax. I do this all the time. Yes, we're working extremely hard, but we are humans. We have to maintain our sanity. We don't want to be overwhelmed and so on. So parents, do ensure that your child schedules time to do nothing and time to just relax, because you don't want to overwhelm the student, and you don't want this, because sometimes when students are overwhelmed, they tend to get demotivated and so on. So don't try to push them too hard. Yes, you can push them if you know they're being lazy, but you would know your child's capacity, and the child will also know his or her capacity as well. So be sure to include free time for you just to relax and, take a breather. So here I have a potential time management chart. This is subject to change. Do whatever works for you. But if you want, you could list out here the hours of the day. So from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it goes straight up. So I have the early hours in the morning because I know that some students, you guys work best like from 12 at night. I know that when I was a student, what worked for me was starting to study from like 12 a.m. and sometimes I would study till sunrise. So it all depends on what you guys prefer, what works for you. So I have all the hours of the day here, and from Monday straight to Sunday. So I want you guys to, in this time management chart, jot down what you're going to be doing during the different hours of the day. And I think Mr. Brown will make this presentation available for you guys as well, so that you all could look at the time management chart closely, and you could plug in the chart there what you'll be doing at different hours of the day. Because I know that since we have been home since March, a lot of us, we have thrown away the scheduling. We're just doing whatever we feel like. We're just going with how the breeze blows. But now we're getting into a new academic year. We want to, to focus again, redirect our focus. So we need to have that time management chart so that we maximize our day. We get a lot of things done. Because the reality is some of us were doing 2 subjects, 3 subjects. Some of us are even doing 4, 5, or 6. So we really want to manage our time carefully and wisely so that, we can make the most of our time during this period before our exams. So I want to leave you all with a quote from Jim Rohn, and he's actually an American entrepreneur. And he's known for being, well, he's deceased now, but he was known for being a motivational speaker. He mentored a lot of people like the owners of Herbalife, a lot of successful business people and educators. And he had this quote that says, either run the day or the day runs you. And I'm sure for many of us, the day has been running us. The day has been going by and we haven't been doing anything. But a lot of us, we have been assuming, that authoritative role, and we are running the day, we are setting goals, we are listing out what we have to do, and we're getting it done. So I want you all to remember this quote as well. So thank you very much for your time and your attention. Do you all have any questions, any comments, any concerns? Feel free to share them with us.
Thanks for the presentation. It was very good. Well delivered. And
thank you so much.
It's very helpful. Thanks.
You're welcome. I appreciate that. I'm so happy that you guys could learn a lot from this, because sometimes when we are jumping to a new academic year, we don't know what to do. We're a bit lost. Sometimes we don't always have, persons around us to guide us. So I'm very, very happy that you guys could use some of the pointers here so that we could conquer this academic year, guys. And I've also included in the end the reference materials as well. So if you feel free to explore these textbooks and so on, you could do so and read up some more on time management strategies. So thank you for being a wonderful audience. And I hope that you guys utilize these strategies and, we conquer this academic year. And we try to make a positive out of the pandemic and the worldwide situation. And, we get the ball going and, we have excellent results at the end. So I want to wish all the students, I know that I won't have all of you all in my class, but I want to wish you all the best for the upcoming academic year. And I hope you all utilize these time management strategies and, we conquer these achievements for ourselves, our family, our friends, and you know, make yourselves proud in the end. So all the best, guys, and I hope you all manage your time wisely and you all enjoy your experience at CTS College. Thank you so much. On to you, Lyndon.
Thank you so much, Miss Marissa. So guys, who is ready for class on Monday? Wow, nobody's ready for class on Monday.
I mean, I guess I am ready.
Yeah, right. So we have one person ready. America, are you ready for Monday?
Call your name and say you're ready.
Right. So guys, we have pretty much come to the end of our orientation today. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I am super excited to get to meet everyone over the next year that you would be joining us here at CTS College. And I'm sure that your teachers share the same sentiment as well. We do assure you that your time would be at CTS would be short, but would be one of great enjoyment. Though we would be having online classes, we would try to make the best out of it. And your teachers are readily prepared to have the learning ball rolling, okay? So before we close off today's session, does anyone have any final or concerns?
Hey, Lyndon.
Hi.
Good day again, everybody. I just want to make a small recommendation. Before you all start class, it is very important that you all have something really healthy to eat, because you cannot study if you are hungry. You know, and if you're getting hungry every minute, it will take away from your focus on the screen time. And remember, you're going to be looking at a screen for a very long period of time. So it's important that you stay healthy and you eat something that's going to keep you up. And also, it would be really helpful if you all could probably invest in some vitamins as well. That would be extremely helpful, and it will help you to focus better and, you know, keep you calm and whatnot.
Thank you so much for that, Vishal. So again, do we have any questions? Because we are getting to wrap up. We are getting ready for Monday. I know some parents have to go out now to get pens and pencils and books and stuff like that. Yeah? So again, guys, if you don't have any questions or concerns, or if you want to message me after, that is perfectly fine. You can WhatsApp me because I'm in the office as well. So we have come to the end of our orientation today, and classes will definitely be starting on Monday. Just to reiterate, I would be sending all emails to, in terms of the classes later on this weekend. So you can look out for that. Be sure to ask any questions before classes start. Remember to log in early. Remember, cameras must be on. And I would be sending emails and reminders to students and parents for the upcoming sessions. So everybody be safe. Don't forget, if you're going out, to wear your mask, maintain social distancing, and I hope that everybody have a great weekend. God bless and be safe, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.